Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Rwagnation League Grand Prix here in the F2 races in the United States of America. There's your drivers on the right-hand side, one of which is a very famous Red Bull esports racing driver, Nicholas Longe. He is and has just been crowned one of the greatest drivers to have graced F1 2019 ever. Really, it's brilliant. But looking alongside of that, you've got a lot of other people in very different cars as well. This is all F2, remember, so there's no F1 cars here, so this is a little bit out of Nicholas's comfort zone. Let's see if we can carry that through into the qualifying. We do have the one-shot qualifying first, followed by a 25% feature race, then followed by a 25% sprint race. We're going to go on board with Crow off the get-go and see how he tackles this. So the long straight here with the DRS wing wide open all the way up the hill towards turn 1 is a hard left-hander, a hairpin, so brake there and get yourself right down the gears. He's ran deep, he's made a mistake there, he's fallen right down the order. This is all good stuff for him. I'm sure he loves these F2 cars. But he's not looking too good right now though. Look at him down in 16th as it stands. Oh, he's made mistakes. Oh, that's not good. That's not how you take the S's. Let's quickly jump on board with Marco. Let's see how he's doing it, because he's currently tied with Racing Rick for P1 as it stands. Beaker's involved in this. Duxie B's in there as well, also trying to scrap his way through this as much as possible. In towards another hairpin, or at least it's a very tight left-hander. Brakes seriously hard at the 100-meter board. Max has retired. Well, don't be surprised if that happens later on as well. Here we go then, on the long straight at the back. DRS wing wide open once more. And it's a charge to yet another hairpin. Brake of the F1 board. Gives off right down the gears. Really tight to that apex. Get a nice exit as well. You don't want to go too wide. You don't want to go too tight. Otherwise you will make a big mistake if you do. Another tight right into a double. That's a double right-hander really. Oh, and then a double left-hander and with a bit of a tail kick out as well. Let's allow Duxie B now to take provisional pole for now. A few corners to go then. Racing Rick is there now. He's all so close in these top 5, top 6 area. Maybe even top 7. I think Default's involved in this as well. He's just got past Cryptic. He's also getting himself towards the likes of Marco. Marco's now second to last, coming up to the final corner, but it's looking like it's going to be between Beaker and Duxie B. Who's going to make it to the line first? I think Duxie's going to get it, or is Beaker? It's so tight. Beaker's just got it. Duxie B in P2, Piloto in P3, and then you got Racing Rick. Look how close they are. They are so tight. 3/10 between the top 4. It's only just a little bit outside of that for 5 and 6. Then you got a little bit further out, 5/10 in fact for Cryptic, and then even further out there for Dennis, and then Niksana a little bit further down behind him as well. So, okay, cool. This is the that's the one-shot qualifying done. Beaker's got those 4 points secured for the fastest lap, which is good for him towards the championship. Remember, last weekend he actually won the whole thing. Hopefully he can do that again today for his sake, but for others, I want to see some drivers. Racing Rick, for example, I want to see him actually have a redemption race. Get himself right back up the top. But here's your rundown at the end of that one-shot qualifying. Beaker in P1, Duxie B in P2, Piloto P3, Racing Rick P4, Marco P5, Default P6, Cryptic 7th, Dennis 8th, Niksana 9th by 1,000th of a second between these two. And then McFriedlich rounds out your top 10 with Lando's Smokman in P11, and then Jack and Prefix and a few others further downfield. So, interestingly, Crow was right at the back of the grid. He did not do well at all in these F2 cars. Something is not working for him. I don't think Crow is used to these F2 cars at all. Nicholas is really going to be struggling overall. But, you know, when it comes to the race, that's where it mainly matters. If you don't come P1, it doesn't really matter where you come as long as you do well in the races. So bear that in mind. We're just waiting for Dennis and Duxie B to sort themselves out. We're going to get underway with the formation lap. Now, I did see super soft tyres being used, obviously, in the one-shot qualifying. I'm going to see now what tyres has everybody chosen. Everybody has gone for the medium compound. This track will destroy your tyres, and that's why they've gone for that mediums, it seems, because they know you can't really go on anything else if you want to make it to the 8 laps. So this is the 25% feature race, remember? And there will be a sprint race after this. Again, it's another 25%. I think it's going to be about 6 laps, 7 laps in total for the sprint race. So these boys are really going to stay committed. But Beaker doing really well off the get-go. Yeah, look at this. Crow right at the very back here then. Trying to figure a way out. Oh, a little bit of contact there. Max and Max. A little bit of Max and Max action. They're probably going to get reset. Oh, there's one Max. I was Max and Noosa, sorry, not Max. So we're gonna have to we're gonna have a bit of issues here. Max and Max. Too many. We'll think of something for them. Max 22, Max BSS, that's probably what we're gonna have to say. Right, the other flags I did see, that's for sure. Didn't see who that was though. Let's have a look down the field. Everybody getting a little bit squirrely. Everybody getting a little bit nervous. No need to get nervous. It's just the F2 races here in USA for the Rwagnation League. Again, it is a for fun league, so you can completely appreciate that. I haven't actually done the just keeping. Oh, look at that! Was that Max BSS? That was a mistake. That is not how you want to be. Crow though, just hanging in the back, getting himself prepped, ready. Just waiting for the formation lap to end, and then we can absolutely smash it here today. Are we ready? Oh, the cars are almost ready. Pulling themselves into the grid boxes, getting themselves prepped and ready for the final push, for the actual start of this Grand Prix. It's going to be a doozy, that one you can guarantee. And I think we have to realistically go to the front of the grid. As you can see, the lights are on now, and as soon as they disappear, it's go time here in USA. Off we go then. Very delayed. There it is. A very delayed start there. Not quite sure what happened. Lights went out and nobody else moved, but it is starting to see movements already. Piloto's getting involved in a very little action going in towards turn 1. Stays on the outside though. Watching out for all the debris. Watch out for all the crashes. So far, there's only been a little bit of a touch in the middle. There's big rotation there though. Who is that? Is that Nixana? I can't even see. He's falling down the order too quickly. All 3 cars all off, all reversing themselves back onto the grid as quick as can be, and it's a big mistake there for Marco Cryptic and Nixana. And Nixana's gone. That's a wall. Managed to keep himself alive though. That is important. Go back up to the front of the grid though. As you can see, more action going on field. Beaker getting very twitchy there. Had a good start initially in the qualifying. Coming to the beginning of this race, he's lost out massively, and Duxie B is already shot away. Piloto trying to push himself as close as he can to the drivers ahead, but it's just not working out right now, and he's struggling to get it all going. And there's more mistakes there. That is Beaker that's made a big off there. Look how far off the track he is. That is not good. So Nicholas Longe up into P10 now, looking for Lando's Milkman if he can do anything about a little dive attempt down the inside. Beaker's retired. He's not happy with his race. That's a frustration retirement. But Max BSS has got a penalty for ignoring yellow flag conditions. Noosa is facing the wrong direction. Lots of mistakes being made. Oh no, Noosa! That was a big collision there with Jack. Jack getting a very unfair penalty, I feel. Noosa did go straight into his way. Not a lot he could do about it. It's a very tight battle going on here between Max and Crow. Nicholas Longe working his way around Max BSS. Got himself ahead, but does have wing damage. Oh, that's not him. That was Landos. Landos has got the wing damage. He's still trying to scrap with him. It's just not working out for him. Max has gone deep. Oh, big twitch as well from Landos. That's allowed Prefix to slip on by, but he's on the inside. Landos is stuck on the outside. No wing on the right means he's in trouble, and that's Max BSS just losing the rear. Managed to keep himself out of the wall, but he is struggling to rotate the car. Very cleanly getting himself out of the way. McFriedlich up in a P4. Look, this is probably his best result I've seen in any of the F2 races. He's doing really well today. Lap 2 of 8. He needs to maintain it though. That's the hard part. Max in P6. Sort of working his way up towards Dennis. Although Dennis has made a big mistake there. You can see he was just losing so much control of the car. This is allowing Max to close in. Oh, a bit of a mistake there for him. Just kept himself alive. Did not have any major problems. Default in P3 though. He's actually staying pretty tight. And no issues to really worry about. There is McFriedlich a little bit further downfield. Piloto, who is McFriedlich's teammate in P2, is about a second and a bit more than that now, it looks like. About 2 seconds behind Duxie B. Duxie B is on a tear. He is very happy on these conditions. Jack on the super softs. Racing Rick has decided to just come out again on a fresh set of mediums. Nixana's obviously come out, done the exact same. Noosa very slow now. I think that was where the yellow flag was. His tyres must be cooked because he's struggling. Nixana again, penalties. Lots of penalties, in fact. Mafreelik still doing good. It said arrow down, but he's been like that from the beginning. Let's have a look at the position changes then. So, biggest winner is Nicholas Longe, who came from dead last right the way up to P7. So good stuff from him to get to where he is. Max in a similar boat. He was right down at the back of the field. He's claimed 9 places, so good stuff from him as well. Mafreelik has claimed 6. The biggest loser, though, aside from Beaker, is Racing Rick. He's lost 11 places off that start, and that is not good news for him in the slightest. We'll need to try and figure out how he's going to bring himself back into this, if he can even do that. It's going to be a tough one, to say the least. But we are seeing everybody working their way further and further to the front of the field. Now, if Discord doesn't fix itself, there will not be any live stewarding today, as they usually get into a chat together and sort it all out. And there's no way for incidents to be reported, although that one won't need reporting. That is Max getting a 2-second time penalty for multiple warnings once more. Max is the kind of driver who does tend to get these penalties as such. Needs to try and find a way to reel that in a little bit, but we are about to see Dennis fired up, ready to attack Mafreelik, who's just lost the rear. No, that's not good news at all. He's hit the wall as well. That's a right end plate missing. He's going to try and rotate his car. He's back again. And away he goes. Okay, so Max now is just looking to fight Dennis, who obviously had DRS because of the time of the detection zone and the time of the activation zone. Meant that Mafreelik lost control of the car before he could actually get the wing open. Allowed Dennis to just sort of hold his line, hold himself together, and look at Nicholas Longe and Prefix having a good old battle, but Prefix has just rotated the car a little bit too much, and off onto the grass he goes, and now Crow claims one more position, up into P6 now, 11 places gained, 10 for Max as well, so they are currently battling for the majority of places gained, although it is favoured towards Nicholas Longe, as he did start further down the field, so it's a bit easier for him to get more positions gained. As Racing Rick still down there, right the way down there. I'm trying to figure out who is having these issues. Oh, Nixana, that's who's having these issues. Kept himself alive, though. That is crucial. Has already been to the pits, I think, twice now. No, they will be going to the pits for the second time, except if he does that, then he will not. That will be the end of Nixana's race. Is that going to cause a safety car now? That's the key question. Currently no, yellow flag sector 2, and we are halfway through this feature race. We've still got half the race left to go. Mafreelik is working his way back towards Lando's Miltman. This is a tough area to attack. Lando's Miltman is feeling the pressure, feeling the mistakes making, and here comes Mafreelik looking for an opportunity to find a way around him. Oh, beautiful overtake there from Mafreelik. He's held that line perfectly, but just gets a bit too much and gets a penalty. 3 wide now coming through this right-hander. Are they going to be able to hold it together? Mafreelik is the one who becomes the victor overall. Lando's Miltman is the one who's losing out, and Cryptic will slide on through. He's now up in a P9. He's going to have DRS on Mafreelik, who won't have DRS at all. But last that round, this is where we saw Mafreelik get a bit too excited on the throttle. This time he's able to maintain it, and off he goes. He's actually got a really good exit there, but has he done enough? Here comes Cryptic, here comes Lando's Miltman, both slipstreaming, both DRS wings wide open, and neither of them really able to do anything, although Cryptic, going for full send, decides against it. Says not today. Mafreelik holding his line quite nicely. Just keeping him stuck on the outside. A little bit of contact there. That's caused Mafreelik to rotate. He can't catch it. He's just caught it. Good stuff from Mafreelik, but that's cost him 2 places now as a result. And a bit aggressive there from Cryptic. And a bit too much of a wobble there for Mafreelik. Needs to kind of catch that a little bit easier. Max getting more penalties. Cryptic just slides on through, and Marco is out. Marco has retired. That is sad news for him. Lando's then on the back of Cryptic. Mafreelik seeing an opportunity to get back in this. Max BSS is also looking to get something here as well if he can get it. Mafreelik goes a bit deep, goes into the side of Lando's, and that's an end plate I've just seen go missing from Mafreelik's car, so he's got no end plates on that car at all. Max BSS claims a position. McFreely goes defensive, runs a bit too wide as a result of the deep lunge. That's allowed Max to just slip through and get that position again. Is Landers Milburn going to be able to claim any places here as well? He's looking for it. Again, the same situation as before. He's struggling in the same areas where McFreelik's struggling, although McFreelik is the car that's in front, so he has the advantage. Except for here, where Landers can go for it. It's an opportunity, but it's going to be an outside line if you can keep it going. McFreelik comes across, makes a mistake, gets too much on the curb, and ends up leaving that position for Landers. Felt he maybe went a bit too deep, I think. That's why he decided to back off, it looks like. But Piloto's under attack. Here comes Default then. Deep dive into the hairpin. It's going to work out well for him initially, but Piloto's going to get a really good exit. And he's got the inside line for this one, which means he can hang Default out to dry unless Default can hold his line, which he's done a very good job of. Keeping Piloto out on the outside now means he's got the double left-hander locked down, and the position will go to Default overall. Or will it? Because Piloto's got a really solid exit. Never mind, he hasn't. That's Default. Now up into P2. Max and Dennis, they are scrapping like crazy. You can see this is getting hot, this is getting heavy, and Dennis is the car who will hold on to P4 for now. Max is chasing him down, trying to work a way around him. DRS will be on the home straight, remember, and Dennis won't have it to protect himself with, so he's going to have to see how he can hold Max back. Realistically, the gap is so close, I don't think there's anything he can do. This should be a sitting duck, easy overtake. DRS wide open now, and off Max goes. Goes for the outside move. This is a risky move. If Dennis runs deep, or is he going for the cutback? He's going for the cutback. This might work out for him if he can get the exit down. Dennis is stuck on the inside, and that's allowed him to just keep himself held in there. Dennis not got a lot he can do about it. Just trying to hold him back. Dennis, Max, almost goes into the back of him. I thought there was going to be contact there between the two of them, but they've kept it clean. They've kept themselves alive. And here they come then. Still snaking around the track, as is the way with the USGP. Nicholas Longuet getting the 2-second time penalty. Again, extending track limits, cutting corners. That's where you get those penalties for. And now Max is in the attack mode. He summoned his Dark Magician. He's ready to call upon the gods. Is it going to be enough now? Wing wide open. Slipstream being utilised. Dennis knows it, trying to slip him a little bit. It isn't working for him. He's got the inside. He's trying to hold that inside, but if he does, he will lose out. As here comes Max round the outside of the hairpin. Who's going to lock up? Anybody going to lock up? It's going to be no one, but Dennis has got a good line. Max is still scrapping. They're keeping it very clean. He's gone for the switch. That was a big attempt, but he might actually get it. Dennis looked like he got faked out a little bit there. Max, it just gets a bit too twitchy on the rear, and that's caused him to go for a big send on the inside, and I think he might just get the position, or will he? Dennis is still there. This is a very good battle. These two are just going toe to toe, and elbows have come out a little bit there. I don't think it was an intentional elbow, but it was definitely an elbow. Dennis getting a bit out of shape. Max looking for the inside line again. Oh, they're both losing the rear. They're both trying very hard to benefit from everything. They both have full wings, so it's purely down to racing skill now. And DRS again available for Max. It's wide open now. Dennis knows it. They're trying to get on the inside again. If he can hold him outside, it should mean that Dennis will get a better line again. That's it. That's Max getting the position now. He's got a penalty, though, for cutting that corner just a bit too severe. I think that's 6 seconds now in total. Noose has got one as well. And he's got the position done. So Max finally gets the move done. You could argue he overtook off track. Dennis gets a penalty now, and he's actually coming in. Look at this. Going for it now. Into the left-hander. Watch out. A little bit of tight there. A little bit of touch in between the two wheels. Dennis has gained overall because Max looked like he just dropped out of that there. Bit concerning for him. Default now on the back of Duxby there. 7/10 is their gap. I don't think it's going to be close enough for him to be able to get anything, but it is a long straight, and that slipstream is a very powerful beast. Don't know if anyone's going to be able to tame it, though. Currently, it's not looking like it's going to be Default just yet. Nope, he's staying P2 for now. So Max's turn to attack Dennis. Has already got his wing wide open. Has the slipstream, but it looks like Dennis has just got a little bit less wings, which is allowing him to just hold it when it comes to these straights. Max had a little look there, looks for the inside. He's still there, still got the opportunity, but he's going to be now on the outside for the next one. He knows it. This is not the ideal line. He wants to get the cutback, and that's what he's trying for, but what you got to remember is the next two corners are left-handers, and if you have the outside, you're already at a loss here unless you can get a cutback right here, which again, Max goes for the cutback. Dennis reads it, holds him dead to rights, puts him on the outside once more, and no matter how many times you try the cutback here, it won't work out for you in that area unless you are on the other side, which is not looking good for Max right now, but he's still there with Dennis. not sure if Dennis is going to be able to actually shake him here. He's really trying his best. Max has gone full send. Gets that position done. Has he got DRS to boot? He does. It's a good job there from Max. But he needs to get that gap extended. He needs to try and pull away as much as possible. We have a race leader change. It's Duxie B and Default. Default's made an overtake in a very good area of the track to do it on, with the wing wide open on the home straight, and he looked like he went for turn 1, got that move done. We've lost a car. That is Jack 27. So he's out of this Grand Prix along with Marco, Nixana and Beaker. They are done and dusted. Dennis is still there with Max. This is still going. It's not going to change just yet. Very close between the two. Stuck on the outside. Actually going for it again. Look at this. Dennis is trying to do the do, and I think he might actually have done it. Has he got everything covered off now? Has this been the run he needed for this long straight now? Bit of a twitch there from Max. That is less than ideal, to say the least. Max has gone off to the inside. Wow, that was a very big flick there. He almost went off into the wall. That's how much of a flick it was. Dennis, with his much lower wings, is going to take a good route, but it's again, he needs to stay on the outside. Max reads that and says, I'm going deep, I'm going to hold it. Dennis is trying to get on the inside for the next corner. He's gone for the send. That is a very late lunge, and that's allowed Max to get back through, but they are still side by side. Dennis has got the pace. Max has been shoved onto the grass and rotated, and that was a bit too much elbow there from Dennis. And that's caused that to happen. Not the ideal scenario, that's for sure. A little bit of switcheroos there from Prefix as well, who's getting that position. Race is over then. Default takes the win with Duxie B in P2. Piloto there in P3. Dennis will cross the line and go P4, but he does have a lot of penalties. Nicholas Longe will cross the line and take P5. Max is going to cross it and stays P7 due to those penalties. Don't know how many penalties Max BS has. He has more, or at least equal to everyone else. Noosa, I know he's got a fair few. Landos Millman, I think, has kept it pretty clean overall, so he might actually gain something here. Here he comes. That might have just slowed Noosa down enough to allow him to get through, and he does not. So now remember, those are in the top 8. Will have their positions reversed. So Default will start P8 and Cryptic will start P1 in the next race, which is the sprint race. And I should, if I very quickly check this, should have ICOCOM. If I can find him. No, can't see him. My Discord doesn't appear to still be working. Apparently it is still broke. Default will take that win then. So good amount of points for him. He also gets the fastest lap, so 27 points to his name. That's really going to help him out quite strongly. Beak obviously DNF'd, so he didn't gain any points. And then you can see the massive penalties there on the left, on the right hand side. As Duxby gets P2, Piloto gets the third step on the podium with Dennis in P4. Nicholas Longate claims 17 places. Sorry, claims from P17 up to P5, so really good job from him. P12 places again. Prefix there, P6, Max P7, Cryptic P8, Max BSS P9, and Noosa in the 10th position. So remember, the top 8 will switch places. I'm just going to try and fix my Discord really quick because I should hopefully have a Toto joining me if this connects. Is it going to work? Nope, it appears not. Sadly, it is still down for me. Alright, well, regardless of that, we do have the sprint race coming, and the weather is still dry, so that's big for the drivers. So they don't have to worry about any sort of wet setup, they just have to focus solely on making sure that they are driving as quick as they can with the right tyres and as well as possible. There we go then, formation lap for the final time in the F2 cars. Remember, after this, there will be the F1 race. So fear not, the racing action is not over. In fact, if anything, it is only just beginning. The F1 race, it will be in the US. Oh, I've never seen that before. The names just appeared in the center of the screen. That was pretty cool. It'd be nice if that could happen on a regular basis. No, Discord is still dead. Let's see then if anything will change throughout. So Cryptic obviously finished P8 in that feature race, and now he starts on pole here today, ready to attack and coming in towards turn 1. Max will be there right behind him. We saw what Max was doing in the last race with Dennis. It was very good racing overall, and for once Max actually drove the cleanest I've ever seen him drive, and Dennis was the one who just gave him a little bit too much of a shunt there. It wasn't intentional, I don't think, but it was still a bit too much onto Max, and I sent Max off the track. And ultimately he did lose a few places, but it did put him in a P2 position here. And does mean now then he has an opportunity to get some valuable points to help him with his career. I think at some point we might see Max get an F2 win. We don't have many races left to go there. We do have Brazil, we do have Abu Dhabi, but that won't be coming quick enough, it seems. Oh, Discord is still dead for me. So sadly, there'll be no co-commentator, it looks like. Let's get that fan on. Let's get the room cooled a little bit then. Prepare ourselves for... That was the chair, by the way. Prepare ourselves for the F1 Grand Prix. Luckily, I have a nice refreshing beverage to assist us in this very exciting Grand Prix, and I'm gonna have to take a big sip now just to make sure that the vocal cords are nice and lubricated, ready for the onslaught of action we're about to see, as we've got such a mix of tyres, super softs and mediums across the table. We've only got 3 drivers on the mediums. That's Dennis, Max, BSS and Jack. Waiting for them to get into their grid boxes then, and then we'll get underway with this Grand Prix. Right then, lights are on then. Let's see now if we can get a beautiful run in towards turn 1 from Max, because he needs that. He needs to get the good start. And away we go then. Let's get cracking with this final F2 Grand Prix here in the Rwagnation League. Cryptic gets a beautiful start, and kind of so does Nicholas Longe. He's actually in there looking for an opportunity. A bit of contact further downfield. Is that Piloto who's lost out there? He has lost a little bit, but he's got himself back in again. That was Prefix. He also had issues. He's managed to keep himself pointing in the right direction. Nicholas Longe up into P3, which is a really good start from him. Everywhere else is nice and tidy. Everywhere is nice and clean. It's the 2 BWTs that are actually giving it a good scrap, and that's a very fast car off into the wall. That's McFriedlich, who's retired from the session. Big crash by him. Didn't quite catch exactly what caused it, but I did see the aftermath, and that was him straight off into the wall like a spear. He is sadly very frustrated. Hopefully next week he has a better result. Piloto on the back of this little battle for P3. Default's trying to fight with the Red Bull Esports champion. And Nicholas Longe cannot get that drive out of that corner. That has stopped him from being able to really get anything great out of him. He's got the drive in front of Piloto. I don't think he's got enough here on Default. He is faster with the fact that he's got the slipstream on his table. Is he going to be able to go for a slingshot? He's going around the outside. This is not going to work out for him, I don't think, unless Default runs deep. He looked for the cut back, couldn't get the cut down the inside, and that's why he stays exactly where he is. Looking further down the field, and we do have a lot of movement happening as the BWTs are scrapping. You also have Marco trying to get involved with Noosa. Is that going to be a change of positions? It doesn't look like it's going to be. And Landos Miltman is there. There's a lot of punching, a lot of shoving, and that's Landos Miltman and Dennis. Oh, big contact! Dennis just gets caught into it with, I think, Beaker. It was Beaker. He's going to be retiring from the session. Yep, he's not happy. That's typical Beaker things. Prefix fighting with Duxie B. Duxie B taking the outside line. Prefix trying to scrap with him all the way through. Oh, he's just kept himself in there. So Duxie B in a great position right now. Racing Rick trying to get in there with Prefix. Racing Rick did get a penalty for cutting that corner, just a bit too severe. We've only got 4 laps, 5 if you include the remainder of the one they're on right now, and I think that's going to be a tough one. Here comes Racing Rick down the inside. It's going to be a late lunge, but he's got the inside line. He's going to be able to hold him outside. He has done, but Prefix will have the better line through turn 2. Or will he? Because he lifted off a bit too much there. And that was what allowed that to happen. So Nicholas Longe up in a P3 is fighting with Max, as Max is round the back of him, and Max is the kind of guy who's going to see Nicholas Longe's name above that car and say, I absolutely want a piece of this action. There's no way I'm not attacking here. I have to. I need to. Let me get in and let me get involved. Bit of a mistake there from Max to lose the rear just a little bit. Didn't get the exit he needed, but does have the slipstream he needs. So he's going to be able to hold on to that gap. Don't think he's going to be breaking it down anytime soon. This Longe with a very good exit meant he was able to hold that position overall. A little bit twitchy there from Max. Just needs to sort of keep that a little bit under control, I think. As Max BSS is fighting Prefix to an extent. And at the end of this lap, we will get DRS being enabled. We won't get it on the home straight. We will get it on the long back straight. And ultimately, that's the main area to attack. You can do it in towards turn 1, but you know, you need to rely on your ability to use sector 1 perfectly and pull away a fair bit. Otherwise, you're really ruining it for everyone else, and including yourself. Nicholas Longe just getting very wide there. Oh, here's a big send here from Max into the final corner. That's him losing the rear. He's fighting it hard, but Piloto's coming in. He's trying to fight with Max. Max is trying to just squeeze him a little bit. Just cannot get it. Ended up having to fall behind and get into the slipstream. He's gone for a big send into turn 1, though. This is going to be deep. This is going to be a bit too tight, and I think Piloto's going to read it. He does, and Max gets himself back up in a P4, but that's actually hindering him just slightly as Nicholas Longe has now got the opportunity to pull away. Default is closing into the back of Cryptic, and I think it would be great if he could attack. Don't know if he will attack. He's going to hold out at least for now. Default's got very, very surgical method, and Max has lost it. Over to the wall he goes. Oh, a little tickle there. No damage, I don't think. But apart from the damage to his ego, Max has just straight up left the session. It's not good at all then. Nixana, Duxie B, 5 and 6. Duxie B has a pretty close gap. Nixana does not have DRS, which will allow Duxie B to now put his foot down and floor it. Wing open, has the slipstream of Nixana. They are on that dirty area of the track. So much dust, so many marbles. Is Duxie B going to get the full send? Is he going to lock up? He goes for the flick, and he's going to take the inside line into the hairpin. Nixana's on the outside, holds the line, gets sent off to the outside, gets back on track, but loses the rear. Duxie B is up now, and that's going to bring Nixana back in again. Big late send. Duxie B still alongside of him, still has the opportunity to hold him outside if he can, and he is. So now Duxie B will be there, has gained that position back, and Racing Rick is trying to fight wherever he possibly can. I think Racing Rick might get Nixana on the home straight. Nixana looks like he's scrapping as hard as he can to keep himself in this race. Gets a penalty just for taking that far too wide. Again, a little bit wide on the entry, on the exit of that corner. Here comes Racing Rick down the inside. Just backs out at the right time. Needs to watch his rear though. Can't afford to do this, and that's the reason why, is he just doesn't have the grip. Nixana will have DRS as well. Won't get the overtake, at least for now. Default and Cryptic, they are very close together. Default and Cryptic were attacking in towards the first corner. We need to stay on board with these because this is race lead. Lap 4 of 6. Don't have very much left to go. Needs to try and time everything perfectly. Cannot afford to lose any gap once he's made that move stick. That's the hard part, and the easy part is using DRS in the first place. Now, the remainder of the lap is relatively straightforward. It's just about the overtaking is the issues that you're going to have to worry about. If you take the inside on pretty much every corner, you're going to lose out on the next corner, so sometimes it's best to sacrifice the inside for one corner and benefit on the next. You got to think a corner ahead, and that's the difference between a rookie and a professional. Here comes Default then, looking for Cryptic. Into the braking zone, Cryptic moves defensively. Default goes even further in, and he's going for a late send. Manages to get the car stopped enough to not run wide, but that's also completely compromised his line. Allowed Cryptic to regain that first place position. Outstanding performance overall though from these boys, really putting each other to the test and trying to fight hard as strong as much as possible. Nixana in the same boat is trying to fight hard and strong, and it's just not working out for him. We are losing cars left, right and centre. Somebody's really lost out quite considerably as Jack's gone through on Prefix. Landers Miltman is here as well, has severe damage to that left wing, has missing a lot of elements, and also is missing an end plate. Again, not good for him either. Max BSS on the back of this fight, so that's going to be something that will continue in its entirety. Landers Miltman actually looks like he's losing out as Max is going through. That wing is causing him trouble. Landos is dropping even further down the field. Whereas Default is looking for Cryptic again then. Round the outside of turn 1. Goes for the cutback. Cryptic's got a good line. He's got the inside for turn 2, which will mean that Default is going to be left out stranded. Or is he? Because he's got the pace. He's got the line. There was a bit of contact between the two. He's also got race lead, but now it's on Default to make sure he pulls away. Cryptic needs to stick to the back of him as much as possible for that back straight. Cannot afford for anything to go wrong for him. If he does, that will be it, as it's lap 5 of 6. There's not a lot of time to recover anything. You've got one more shot after this one to get that position back, but it will require you to be very much on the button, on the limit, ready to do everything you need in order to get the win. Default is looking a little bit out of shape through the hairpin. Cryptic needs to make sure this exit is clean. It looks pretty tidy, but he's lost a lot of pace. 5/10 is the gap currently, and it looks like it's climbing still. So Cryptic, unless he's got the lowest wings of anybody in the world ever, he's not going to get this position on Default. Or is he? It's a late send. He's looking for the inside. Default's going to have to read it. He does read it. Goes for the cutback. Default with a beautiful defensive drive gets straight back into P1. Cryptic was left stood there, not knowing exactly what he could do about it, and Default just gets a little bit out of shape. But what a defensive drive from Default. He read that situation perfectly. He's seen that film and watched the repeat on Dave multiple times. Is Cryptic now going to be able to return the favor, do anything back to him, trying to get that position back? It looks like the answer is going to be not yet, not now. But he's got one DRS straight on the home straight to break that gap closer. Just has to maintain it through the whole of the first sector. When you get partway through the second sector, you will have the long DRS straight. Look at the gap he's got. He's closing that in beautifully. This is Cryptic just holding him to ransom. Final lap this is. So this is all to play for. Cryptic's final attempt. All the pressure on his shoulders if he wants to get this win here in the sprint race. Default knows what's got to be done. He's currently doing that. Holding it very nicely. Trying to build a gap where he can. It's about 3/10. But Cryptic is looking ahead. Seeing that car. And working out what he can do to try and just bring himself that little bit closer. Default is looking like he's done more than enough in order to win today. Oh, a bit of a twitch there. This is Cryptic's opportunity. This is a chance for Cryptic to attack. Default has read that. Goes over to the inside. Is trying to hold the line, but Cryptic has the pace with that DRS ring wide up, and I'm not sure what Default can do about this. He's trying to just get in the slipstream, trying to recover whatever he's got. Looking for the same defensive drive he had earlier, but this time he's on the attack. Trying to get that line. He just kind of goes into the back of Cryptic. Cryptic gets a little bit out of shape. That will bring Default back into race lead, and Nicholas Longue's in there. He's gone straight into the side of Cryptic. Sent in into the side. I think that's given Nicholas Longue some wing damage. It has. Look at that left end plate. He doesn't have one. That's the problem, and that's what's caused him to drop back down into P3. It was a very late send. Don't blame him for trying it, but it's not worked out, and neither is that for Duxie B. Just gets a little bit too aggressive on the throttle and will cause him to lose time now. Lose that opportunity as well as Default. Is that Nicholas Longue? He just ran off seriously wide there. Default in, coming around the final corner for the last time in the F2 cars. Will cross the line, takes the win. Cryptic takes P2. Nicholas Longue takes P3. Piloto takes 4th with Duxie B there in 5th. Racing Rick will get 6th with Marco coming up to the line and taking 7th with Jack 27. Coming up to take 8th place. Nick Sana with a few too many penalties. He's going to be in a fight with Max for the final corner. Prefix in there. Oh no, Prefix is in the wall. Max will cross the line, but Noosa will be the one who gains more than anyone. He's up in a P9. Max gets P10, and that's it for the points positions as Prefix gets best of the rest award. Nixana gets P12. Max 22 gets 13th, and Lando Smiltman gets 14th. Oh, wow, that was very, very exciting to see. Really, really enjoyed that race. These guys really know how to handle these F2 cars. When they want to, at least. Hoist your trophy high, Default, because if I got my calculations correct, based on the fact that you won both races and you got fastest laps in both races, the only thing you needed to make this a perfect weekend was the one-shot qualifying pole position. The weekend results are there. Default takes the win by 20 points, gets both wins, and the fastest laps in both races will get that very good overall weekend win, with Duxby in P2, Piloto taking P3, Nicholas Longe gets P4, Cryptic gets P5, and Dennis in P6. Prefix P7, Max 22 in P8, Racing Rick in P9. Beaker, who did get the 4 points for the qualifying, then failed to finish both races, will finish in 10th place. Max BSS in 11th, Marco in 12th, Noosa 13th, Jack 14th, Nick Steiner 15th, Landers Millman in 16th, and McFriedlich in 17th. That's it for the F2 cars, but don't go anywhere, as we are about to get the F1 races underway, and you will be seeing a very nice, beautiful episode of the previously here in the Rwagnation League, courtesy of Beaker and his beautiful editing skills. So sit tight, relax, enjoy everything, and we'll see you in a short while.